Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm the founder and co-owner of Phoenix Counseling, and welcome to the final week of Perimenopause Talks. If you missed previous weeks, I've put links in the description box below. Also, if you'd like a worksheet for taking notes and making an action plan, there's a link for that as well. Last week, we talked about the fact that growth isn't automatic. It takes intentionality to develop the wisdom available to us in this stage. At the end, I mentioned we would talk this week about an important step we need to take before we start learning and changing. What is that step? Grieving. I know that may feel like out of left field, but hear me out. This is a significant principle that drives all of our work here at Phoenix. Our model of therapy follows a defined path, establishing self-regulation skills, analyzing the client's story, facilitating grief work, and then building the new life. We've learned from experience that building the new life tends to be much more difficult without the analysis and the grief work. I think most of us get the logic of understanding why we're operating a certain way before trying to change it. If we don't figure out what need we're meeting or what got the habit started to begin with, we'll most likely find ourselves eventually returning to it every time we try to make a change. So got that. And the first 2 weeks of our series helped us understand what is happening in our minds and bodies during perimenopause. But what is this grief work I'm talking about? When I say grief work, I'm not talking about simply sitting around being sad. No. I'm speaking of an active process of taking inventory of what is no longer available to us or what never was available that we actually needed. How each of those individual losses within the losses have changed or are changing our lives, how they're affecting our bodies, emotions, beliefs, behaviors, and relationships. So many of us are moving so fast that we're not pausing to take stock of the complex impacts of a change, event, or loss. Problem with that is we cannot make peace with what we have not faced. So in grief work, we take inventory of exactly what is happening, how we are impacted. We acknowledge blame. We find healthy ways to express our anger. We wrestle with forgiveness. We sit with and learn from our emotions, and we release that which no longer serves us. From that work, we're able to craft healthy boundaries and identify more clearly what we need. This is the perfect setup for building the new story. Building the new story is what I was talking about last week. With the grief work completed, which is the hard things faced, stagnant spaces in our hearts and minds cleared out, and our needs clarified, we are best able to set specific, measurable, and relevant goals for ourselves. We can then set about acquiring the knowledge we did not receive, learning and practicing the skills we need, and developing the daily habits and practices needed to reach our goals. Doing all of that is dang near impossible without the cleanup process of grief work. It's like trying to run with an anchor attached to your leg. You're not going to get very far. If you've developed a lot of awareness of your story and understanding of why you do what you do, yet you struggle to progress towards who you're called to be, grief work may be the missing link for you. Certainly when it comes to life transitions like perimenopause, I firmly believe we must slow down and do the grief work if we want to live fully into our amazing postmenopause selves. Hopefully this makes sense, but maybe you've got some questions about how to activate all of this. Maybe you're curious about how you lean into grief work. What are the steps exactly? That's why I'll be hosting a live conversation in June. I want us to chat about what you're experiencing, how perimenopause is affecting your emotional and relational health, what you want to learn, and what you need to grab this opportunity for growth. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Where do you want to go from here? Stay tuned for polls on all of our social media platforms. So wherever you're following us, you're going to see these polls pop up in the next few weeks that will help me choose which platform to use for our live session and what day and time works best. I want to hear from you. So please comment below and weigh in on the polls. Thank you.